But we're going to start with the Michael Jordan Last Dance documentary on ESPN last night. It wrapped up with episodes 9 and 10. It was a tour de force. Now there's a debate. What's the better documentary, Last Dance or OJ Made in America? I say Last Dance. But there doesn't seem to be much debate about who the GOAT is in basketball, particularly as it relates to Michael Jordan versus LeBron James. ESPN releasing a poll, a pretty comprehensive poll of comparisons between Michael Jordan and LeBron James. Like 73% of people think Jordan is a better player than LeBron James, but they polled him on everything. They had Jordan rated as a better passer. In every category, Jordan outdistanced LeBron James, all the way down to the fact, I don't know if this has been released, but my sources say Michael Jordan's been bald for 30 years, and they still say Michael Jordan grows hair better than LeBron James. So this was a total wipeout. And we're going to bring in our main man, Jim Jackson, from his crib to help us talk about this, Marcellus, in terms of, to me, the Last Dance documentary. Its legacy will be it ended the LeBron versus Michael Jordan debate. It is over. Marcellus, do you agree?
No, I don't agree. For many reasons. I don't know what the time clock looks like, but I'm about to get a bunch of shots off here. First of all, I don't even think this is objective analysis. If you talk about ESPN that is broadcasting a documentary that is totally, fully approved by Michael Jordan himself, and this same documentary is now going to have a poll in the middle of it, not in the height of Jordan's powers, but in the height of Jordan now reflecting on his greatness. We're going to ask, is he better than LeBron James? Now, remember, this documentary originally was scheduled to air in June during the playoffs as LeBron was seeking his 10th finals appearance. I think the reason we finally saw Jordan dust off all of this footage is because he's shook. He finally found someone that is threatening his throne, and it's LeBron James. Remember, LeBron James wasn't even fully introduced into the GOAT conversation until 2016 with the comeback down 1-3 against the Golden State Warriors. And with that epic comeback, people started to say, you know what? LeBron James might be the GOAT. And then shortly thereafter, we start dusting off the footage to do a production that is supposed to take a snipe at LeBron and his upcoming greatness. LeBron's in the fourth quarter of his story. Jordan's story is old and been told. Now, if you think that LeBron is down on the scorecards, here comes that fourth quarter comeback, which is LeBron James completing the final stages of his career and then exiting into the greatness of his brand. I don't know if LeBron has surpassed Michael Jordan, but Michael Jordan is feeling the heat. Therefore, we're witnessing this, and the conversation is still ongoing.
Shots. Okay, you got shots. All right. Jay, you don't know how to smoke that cigar yet, so let me teach you a little bit about that. But the answer to your question,
Jordan. Go ahead.
Oh, yeah. The answer to your question, no, it doesn't end the debate because LeBron still has a few more chapters in his book to write. We don't know what's going to happen over the next couple of years in regards to the argument itself. LeBron is such a dynamic player that adding another championship or two, the conversation will intensify. Does that mean he's going to surpass Michael Jordan? I don't think so. I don't know. It depends on, again, who writes the narrative. Because if you poll maybe some young players, despite maybe seeing The Last Dance, a lot have grown up in the LeBron James era. If you poll the people like in that 600 people number who are a little bit older, who understood it a little bit more, it was more Michael Jordan. The challenge here is this. LeBron James doesn't have the aura because of social media, because people tend to know him a lot more. Michael Jordan, I was there in that era. There was something different about that Chicago Bulls team, that Michael Jordan era, that's hard to place in today's world. Because when they came to town, it was just different. You didn't see them quite often. You didn't really know the depth in which they thought, what they felt. Okay, you had an inkling about it. You may have seen interviews. You saw them before, after the game, press conferences, maybe on late night TV. But the aura, I don't think, can ever be recaptured in regards to that era. That's technology now being at the forefront. You can just go to Twitter, IG, and figure out who's doing what, who likes what. With Michael Jordan at that time, you couldn't. And I don't know if you can ever replicate or duplicate that. It's the reason why his shoes still sell to young kids who haven't even really seen Michael Jordan play. The debate about LeBron and Michael will continue to go on even when LeBron's career is done. And to your point, Marcellus, LeBron is going to do a documentary. And trust me, it's going to be slanted a lot towards that he, over his course of his career, is probably going to be the greatest player to ever play the game. That's what a documentary is going to be. Kobe's, when they release Kobe's of his last year, guarantee you, is going to be in that conversation as being one of the greatest to ever play.
Look, I'm just going to tell you why LeBron just will never be able to catch Michael Jordan. And again, this will sound like a major shot at LeBron, but it's really just the difference in era and culture. I'm just sorry. Now, I'm not trying to offend anybody out here in the viewing audience. We got a very feminized culture, right, going on right now. And what you just saw, 10 episodes of Last Dance, was masculinity and machismo from Michael Jordan. That's why his shoes sell globally at a record pace. You start removing masculinity, and people start thirsting for masculinity. That's why young people in this poll, because it didn't matter whether you were above 35 or below 35. In the history of the world, people have always been attracted to masculinity. Michael Jordan was the last king of the man's man era of the NBA. And we just saw Marcellus calls it tape or footage. What Michael Jordan just did, he brought out his receipts. In case y'all forgot, here are my receipts. Here's what I did. There's no one, maybe Bill Russell, but Bill Russell played in a different era, 9 teams. You can't even put him in the debate. Michael Jordan put his receipts out there and said, nobody can match this. I played in the era when Karl Malone could bust you upside the head. The Detroit Pistons busted me upside my head. I survived all that and became the king. People are attracted to that kind of masculinity. Michael Jordan is old school. Young people, old people, everybody's attracted to that. Everybody respects that. LeBron plays in a different era. Everybody wants to be best friends. Nobody wants to fight. No one wants to just do anything inappropriate. I just think it's the platform and where we're at today. LeBron can put together whatever documentary he wants, but as long as they show footage of him at the end of his first run in Cleveland, basically quitting against the Celtics, and they show any footage of him when he got to Miami going up against Dirk Nowitzki and Dallas, it's over. Michael Jordan doesn't have any receipts like that. It's over. Michael, somebody else, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the authentic challenger to Michael Jordan, not LeBron in my view.
Yeah, it's unfortunate we don't have receipts of Jordan quitting. Oh, you know what? We actually do. We just went and played baseball, and we called it something else, chasing a childhood dream. Retiring and coming back, that ain't called retiring. Check your dictionary. Here's the thing. You say we don't see masculinity, and all we saw was masculinity at its finest during Jordan's era. It wasn't fully evolved if it was, because the athletes weren't even fully evolved. How in the hell does this poll say that 71% of the participants thought that the era Jordan played in was better than the era that we're currently in? Are you crazy? Are you watching the same footage where the third man, the third best player on some of these teams, are not even the sixth man on current rosters right now? Are we going to still go down that road, or let's veer? And let's veer to where Jimmy Jackson took us in terms of aura. And this argument, Jordan and LeBron, let's just be real about it, it's the same argument I hear in hip-hop all the time, talking about aura, when they say the greatest rapper of all time is Tupac. And then you know what they first say? He was bigger than rap, and he was more than just an MC. It was his aura. He did more than anything, the impact. And then I start saying, you know what's interesting about that? When you start going skill to skill, song to song, there are challengers. It's the same thing with MJ. He's bigger than the NBA. He was more than just a basketball player. Impact, look at my damn shirt. I hear y'all. But when we start going line item to line item, all of a sudden there is a challenger, a formidable one who's not done writing his script. His name is LeBron James. And I think these are parallels in terms of the comparison. We sometimes start to bring in other variables that really shouldn't factor into who's the greatest of all time. But that conversation will continue because LeBron will continue. He's not done. He's playing insane, exceptional basketball at a later age than Michael Jordan was. We'll see how LeBron finishes this argument, not you and I.
I mean, well, it's evolvement. I mean, because it's not, to me, it's not a right or wrong answer. It's who you prefer to deal with in regards to who you select as the greatest player. Again, a younger player, I think, is going to look at LeBron in this era and say it's LeBron James. An older era, it's going to be like, okay, it's Michael Jordan. But aura in regards to this, the mystery about a person lends itself to adding to their value, adding to their status. That Tupac thing you talked about, yeah, I don't care who rapping right now, Kendrick Lamar, whoever it is, they don't have still, even though they may have more hits, they may have more money, they may have more of this, but it's something about Tupac that separates him from the other rappers. Something about Muhammad Ali, now again, his career is over, but the aura about what he did and when he grew up and what he had to deal with lends to why they say he's the greatest. Is Mike Tyson's record better than Muhammad Ali's? Probably. Is there some other boxers that are better? Yes. But things that he went through and the challenges that he faced when he was fighting, the person that he was, lends to why they say he's the greatest of all time. And Michael Jordan, when you watch the documentary, the thing and you can understand this, Marcellus, everybody wants to win. Everybody wants to get to that championship level. But are they willing to do everything it takes without putting in the unless part? Well, I'm willing to do it, go my way. Or the coach doesn't want to do it. Jordan wasn't like that. I'm going to make this happen no matter what, and either you're on board or you're not. A lot of guys are not built like that, and that's why that separation comes in when you start talking about LeBron and anybody else underneath that.
I like the Tupac analogy because in death, Tupac sold more records than any of these nickel and dime rappers today. And post-career, Michael Jordan is still selling more shoes than any of these nickel or dime basketball players today.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. And be sure to check out more of the best clips from Speak For Yourself or go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.